So on Friday we talked about rhombi, and we talked about all the properties of rhombi. What is one property of the diagonals? What does that mean that they're perpendicular? Cross at a 90-degree angle. So let's write that. Cross at a 90-degree angle. All right, and then what's the second thing about diagonals?
Bisect a pair of opposite angles.
What does it mean if they bisect a pair of opposite angles? It cuts the angle in half. Good, take a point. Now, is there something else that we know about diagonals of a rhombus?
They're congruent.
They're congruent. Take a point, Drake. So let's make a little star down here that says the diagonals are congruent. All right, what do we know about the sides?
They're all congruent.
They're all congruent. Good, take a point. What's another thing we know about the sides?
They're parallel.
Which one?
Opposite sides.
Good, take a point. Now, what does it mean when I say consecutive angles? No. What is it? What do consecutive angles mean?
Next to each other.
They're next to each other. Take a point. So give me an example of consecutive angles in rhombus ABCD.
AB.
And?
BC.
Good. And? And what do we know about consecutive angles? They're supplementary. So what does that mean? Good. And opposite angles are? Congruent. Now flip back for me onto page 39A. Types of quadrilaterals. I want you to please list for me, in your own words, everything you know about rectangles and everything you know about a rhombus. Ready, set, go. What, darling? Oh, you're not talking to me, you're talking to your table? Just loudly so I can hear you.
I feel like one of these days someone's going to play around and get some extra places. You're actually in a bad mood. You're in a sound. It's going to be fun. I'm not going to talk.
Okay. Alright, Hufflepuff table. Tell me one thing about a rectangle. For Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff. 4 right angles. Take a point, Hufflepuff. Check yours and make sure you have that in there. Alright, Beauxbatons right here. Tell me what y'all know. One thing.
Opposite sides are congruent.
Opposite sides are congruent. Take a point. Alright, Durmstrang. Tell me what y'all know.
Diagonals bisect each other.
The diagonals bisect each other. Good. Take a point. Alright, Gryffindor. Tell me what you know. The diagonals are congruent. Good. Take a point. Alright, Ravenclaw.
It has two parallels. Two sets of parallel lines.
Opposite sides.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take a point. Were you afraid that I wasn't going to give it to you? You felt judged for a second?
I was like, you know what? That's alright.
I felt because Cameron lost his paper, we weren't in it.
Yeah. Alright, Slytherin, tell me what y'all know.
Bisect each other.
We got that?
Consecutive angles are supplementary.
Yes, consecutive angles are supplementary. Good, take a point. Alright, is there anything else we need to add in here? Check yours against mine. See if you have anything that I'm missing. It's crazy how we can do that.
Whoa.
We could function without me for a whole 5 seconds. All right, tell me about a rhombus. Hufflepuff, start us off again. That's what we just talked about. You could look at your notes on page 41. Diagonals are congruent. Take a point. That was almost painful, and y'all didn't earn your point. All right, Darmstrong, take it away for the next one. Diagonals bisect a pair of angles. Good, both of you take a point. A pair of opposite angles, correct? All right. Gryffindor.
Consecutive angles are supplementary.
Oh, didn't mean to do that. Consecutive angles are supplementary.
Yeah. This is right here.
I know. I wasn't making that face at you.
Yeah. I thought it was stupid.
Not at that moment.
Okay. I'm paying for it.
Take a point. Sorry. All right. Consecutive angles are supplementary. Durmstrang. Nope. Already told y'all, right? So bow buttons right here. Opposite sides are parallel. Good. Take a point. Ravenclaw.
All sides are congruent.
Take a point. Slytherin.
Diagonals are perpendicular.
Diagonals are perpendicular. Take a point. Now, is there one that we don't have in my giant handwriting? What about opposite angles are congruent? Do we have that? So we need that.
Gosh.
Alright, now, what I want us to do is I want us to circle, highlight, heart, star, baby Jesus, something, all the things that they have in common. So does a rhombus have 4 right angles? Alright, does a rhombus have opposite sides are congruent? So let's highlight that. But we should put a star beside this because this says that all sides are congruent, right? Alright, on the rhombus, do diagonals bisect each other?
Yes.
They still bisect each other, so should we squeeze that in somewhere?
My bad.
That's okay, that's why we're doing this. Well, they were, and... Alright, are the diagonals congruent on both of them? Yep. Are opposite sides parallel?
Yes.
Are consecutive angles supplementary? On both? Now, what is different?
Diagonals are perpendicular.
4 right angles.
You have 4 right angles on a rectangle, correct? Do you have 4 right angles on a rhombus? Nope, it's slanted, correct? Alright, what else? What is different on a rhombus? They bisect a pair of angles, which is what you guys were trying to do on rectangles. Remember, y'all were trying to set those parts equal to each other, and you can't do that. And the diagonals are perpendicular. Now, let's look and see what properties a square has that is different or the same as these. Are we ready? Does anybody need a mo? Let's do this. All right, remember our learning target is continuing from Friday where it said I can recognize and apply properties of rhombi and squares. So, a square has all the characteristics of a rectangle and a rhombus. So what does that mean first for all of the angles?
They're all right angles.
They're all right angles. Take a point. What does it mean for all of our sides? They're congruent. If you said they're congruent, take a point. What does it mean for opposite sides? They're parallel. And somebody pick a letter for me.
J.
Oh, okay. Okay, one person raise their hand and pick one letter. Grant.
L,
Heather.
P,
Caitlin.
J,
Blake.
Z.
Why did you answer when I said Blake? Okay.
it's Curtis.
They definitely sounded like.
All right. Now, do we have our lovely square? What should we do with our diagonals? Should we draw them?
Use a straight.
Tell me one. We should use a straight edge. Tell me one diagonal. It's kind of looking like a Christmas tree with all my red and green. Somebody pick the middle letter. Emilio.
Yes, but
I did not mean to laugh, I swear. I love you like sliced bread. Alright, so what does that mean about our diagonals? They intersect at a what? A 90-degree angle. And Drake, what were you going to say?
They're congruent.
So LZ would be congruent to what?
J. JP.
Lazy PJ.
this is true.
Alright, what do we know about the length of LG and ZG? They are congruent. Look at us go. Take a point. What about JG and PG? Are they congruent to LG? So how many tickies should I put? Alright, what do we know about angle LPJ? Follow the letters that I just said. LPJ. What do we know about that angle?
45 degrees.
It's 45 degrees. Drake, why is it 45 degrees?
Because the angles are bisected by the diagonal.
Take a point, Tater.
I told you Drake was going to play something there, buddy. At the end of the year.
So what? I don't even know my train of thought now. I don't even. JLZ. What's the measure of angle JLZ?
45.
45. Take a point. Getting into 45, 45, 90 triangles, and it's so exciting. We're going to learn all kinds of things. If I asked you to find the measure of the sides of a triangle, and we know that this angle is 90, what theorem could we use? Pythagorean theorem. It's like we're learning something, y'all. I'm so proud. Everybody take a point. All right, are we ready to look at our examples?
Yes.
We're ready to get super excited? All right.
Let's party, bro.
What did you say?
I'm so sorry.
What did you say?
Did you? Did you?
What's algebra B?
What did you say?
A different class than what you're in. All right, so this says that WXYZ is a square. If WT, now let's highlight what they gave us, like we've been doing. If WT is 3, find each measure.
WT cheap. ZX 3, that's cool.
No, Tater. ZX is not 3.
ZX
It's
is
6. Why is it
not-
6?
it's the whole length.
Because it's the whole length. So all of these are congruent, as we showed in our thing up there, but this is only half. So that would only give us half of this, and it's asking for the whole thing. So the whole thing would be 6. Look at Deontay go.
Alright.
Alright, number 2, the measure of angle WTZ. 90.
That was
Take
my-
a point, Drake.
That was my answer.
Now, the reason is, if you go back up and look at your picture like you should be doing, we know that the diagonals intersect at a right angle. That means that it's 90 degrees. Magic. And finally, the measure of angle WYZX. 45. Why is it 45? Because it cuts it in half. Take a point.
I went the wrong way.
Why are you so angry?
I get angry when I don't understand it.
What don't you understand?
I mean, I understand it, but like.
You just needed a moment to think? Alright, coordinate geometry. Given each set of vertices, determine whether, this should say quadrilateral. I don't know why I didn't draw these. This is like the third thing. Sorry, yeah, quadrangle. Is a rhombus, a rectangle, or a square? List all and apply and explain. Are you guys ready? What should we do first? We should graph it, right? Good, because we have vertices. And isn't our notebook on graph paper?
Whoa!
Can't we just turn it over? So 41C. Oh, I knew it was going to happen.
If you knew what happened, what did you stop it?
Because I couldn't move fast enough. I was trying to move my notebook. Sassy pants. Alright, 41C. And let's call this example 4. Would y'all like me to list the coordinates right here so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth?
Yes.
Because you're lazy?
Yes.
Alright, 3, 5, 3, 1. Alright, so Q is 3, 5. R is 3, 1. S is negative 1, 1. And T is negative 1, 5. Alright, graph that for me. Graph it so you don't have a 0. Isn't that a better rhyme?
I already graphed it.
Look at you go. What, Tater?
I think it just jealous my garbage.
Okay, that's what it is. What am I doing? R is right 3 up 1. I'm sorry. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I know that Kylie meat.
Okay. Are we ready? Now, well, it says list all that apply. Now let's talk about something first. What do we know about squares? That all sides are what?
I mean,
All sides are congruent. So we need to find the length of QT. And since it's a horizontal line, we can count over. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So QT, well, let's just write 4 above it. Is SR also 4? Is QR 4? Is TS 4? Alright, awesome.
It's a square.
It is a square, but what else is it as well?
It's all very
It's a square, it's a rhombus, and it is a rectangle. All squares are rectangles, but all rectangles are not squares.
Huh.
Alright, do example 5 without me.
Is it funny?
The next one.
Example 5.
So you write the properties of it?
You have to graph it first.
How do you go? Oh, the next one. The next. I have to do another graph.
Yes, please. Q.
-2. Oh, no, I already messed up. Alright, 2, -4.
Oh my gosh.
Boy.
Oh, this is a
R is -6, -8.
Negative what?
-6, -8.
Curtis.
-6,
S is -10, 2. And T is -26.
Thank you.
I don't even have enough spaces for it.
What, darling?
Cinnamon toast.
Do I like cinnamon toast? Yeah. Why are we having this conversation?
I'm craving cinnamon toast right now.
Are you pregnant?
No, I'm just hungry.
Me too. Alright, are you ready? Wait a minute. Life is tough. Ah, Blair. It's like magic. Like we're besties. Alright, so the first thing I think we should do is we should find the slope of each of our lines. Now, we could do this super easy instead of plugging it into our formula. We could just count up and to the left. We know it's going to be negative. So count up and to the left from Q to T. I got 10.
I got 10, 4. 4.
It's 6 minus negative 4, which is 10. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so 10, negative 4, which reduces to what? Negative 5 halves. Alright, do the same thing for R and S. Let's see if those are parallel. Negative 8 minus... Yep. I got the same thing. Did y'all get the same thing? Okay, so these are parallel so far. Now let's find the slope of ST and RQ. ST and RQ. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. So it's 1/2. Yep. Same thing down here.
Yeah.
All right. Did
Were
it?
you just guessing?
No, I counted squares diagonally. It was still right.
Look at you go. Magic. Alright. Okay, so we know the opposite sides are parallel, correct? Do we know if they're congruent?
No.
I don't think that RS and ST are congruent. What do you guys think?
No.
Just kind of look at it.
Alright, do they intersect at a 90-degree angle?
No.
Yes.
They would have to be opposite reciprocals to intersect at a 90-degree angle, so this would have to be 2/5. Is that 2/5?
No.
So what is this?
No.
The answer is either rhombus, rectangle, or a square. Is it any of those things? A rhombus has to have all congruent sides. Do we have all congruent sides? So this is none.
What would you
It's
call
just a
it?
broke figure.
A parallelogram. Because opposite sides are parallel, right?
Yeah.
So it's a parallelogram. Alright, now go back to page 30, 40,
Front page.
sorry. 39A, 39A. Write down everything you know about squares.
Oh,
Holy crap. Little.
Why are you the way you are?
I don't know, bro. I really don't know. You can blame my mom.
Why?
My wrists are so good. I don't know why.
So hitting it on the desk is your solution to helping?
Yeah.
Okay, please write down everything you know about squares.